It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You're listening to Take 5, quick 5-minute take on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I am your host, Matt McMaster, and today we are talking about special teams. Everybody's favorite topic to talk about when it comes to Nebraska football because it hasn't caused any sort of pain or anything like that in the past, right? Yeah, that's a rhetorical question for you there, and very facetious of me. We all know the history of the last couple of years of what special teams has been, whether it has been missed kicks against, Illinois, or whether it be a missed extra point in 2021 against Oklahoma that led into a 3-point swing because Oklahoma grabbed that ball and they ran it back in Norman, and then Nebraska ended up losing that game against a ranked Oklahoma team, and that caused a lot of pain and suffering. Remember when Nebraska football missed a kick against Georgia Southern at Memorial Stadium, and then that was the last game of the Scott Frost era? Yep, I remember that too. There's been, I'm sorry, I just had to, I didn't mean to do a groin kick chronicle there for you, but that is what people relate Nebraska special teams to over the last couple of years. They relate it to pain. They relate it to suffering. They relate it to stupid decisions. They only harken back to when Nebraska football was supposed to punt it. I think it was supposed to punt it right, and they punted it left, and the coverage was towards the right, and instead it went toward the left, and Jaden Reed grabbed the ball in East Lansing in 2021 and ran it back for the easiest punt return touchdown of all time. And despite the fact that the Michigan State Spartans going to get one first down in the second half, they ended up winning that game also in 2021. Like, that's what we relate special teams to. And even to last year, Illinois, you missed that field goal. That was really tough. And, John Hole ended up picking it up down the stretch. But even just the punt returns and not being dynamic in that point of the game and not being dynamic in the kickoff returns and just having terrible efficiency in the third phase of the game, which some would say, at least for Nebraska, might be the most important phase of football because it decides the little things. Yes, it's small, but it decides the things that determine the outcomes of the games. And I don't think anybody can tell you that there isn't a correlation between the rut that Nebraska football as an entire program has been in and them not being good at special teams. Because you look at the stats, they're consistently in the triple digits, even dating back to the Scott Frost era in that phase of the game. And it's just been a problem. And it seems like it's one of those things that does not matter whether you hire a specific coach or you do it by committee or, you bring in a guy from the pros or bring in a guy who came with Matt Rule or bring in a guy who did in the SEC. It just does not matter. But yesterday, the current special teams coordinator of Nebraska football talked in front of the podium, and it just seemed different. It really did. I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm not trying to sell you something before you even see what the product is. But Mike Ekeler, and not only just his impact and his philosophy on special teams, but his impact from a culture perspective on the entirety of the Nebraska football roster just seems sharp. It seems poignant. It just seems like it's there. And not only dating back to how the coaches talk about him, but how the players talk about him as well. It's almost as if his knowledge, but in particularly his passion and his energy has made special teams cool again. And it's almost as if it's a badge of honor and a want for players to get out on the field and put their bodies on the line and play a barbaric part of football for Nebraska. And I think that's something that's been desperately missing. And Mike Ekeler truly is the perfect combination of energy and football guy and culture builder, but also just intellect and understanding how that phase of the game can be played, not only just from a punting perspective, but a kicking perspective and a kick return and a punt return perspective. And I think that it's clear that his vision for Nebraska special teams is so much different from the visions that we've seen past coordinators have. And that's a great thing, because if it was a similar vision and if it was a similar message that has been said, it would lead me to believe that maybe we're going down the path of doing the same thing again, that Nebraska football, once again, may not be successful in special teams. But you look at his message, you look at how he talks to people, and you look at his track record and the things that he accomplished in Tennessee and how efficient and just consistently at the top of the country they were in that aspect of the game, it leads me to believe that, man, this is different. It makes me excited about special teams. Now, I'm never excited about punting, but I like the way they talk about Archie Wilson, and I like the way Archie Wilson talks, and I love the emotion that he brings to the team and his versatility with punting with both of his feet and the fact that everybody keeps calling him a weapon. Like, I just like what's cooking over there and what I think is the most important phase of football specifically for Nebraska, because this season you are going to be in a lot of close games. I think more close games than people realize. And I know that Jake Butt, a lot of people reacted to his tweet as an analyst for the Big Ten Network. He mentioned that. I couldn't agree more with him, because Nebraska football has a ton of talent this year, man. They've been stocking up on guys that have the height, the length, the width, the speed of good football players, of high-quality football players. And this is a staff that prides themselves on developing those types of guys into great football players. And so this team is talented, which means that I think it's going to be a close game against Michigan. I think it's going to be a close game against USC. I think it's going to be a close game against Iowa. And on top of that, when they go on the road to Maryland, they go on the road to Minnesota, those are games that historically over the last couple of years have been very close games. And so what decides close games? What is the needle mover? What is the little things that you do that get you over the hump, that get you to win those games? It's special teams. It's giving yourself 10 extra yards on a punt return that maybe put yourself in better territory to start a drive that gives yourself momentum. It's same thing with the kick return. It's when you are up 3 points and you have the ball on the 50-yard line and you're unable to convert the first down. It's having a punter that doesn't just put it at the 20-yard line, that's able to pin a team within the 5-yard line. It's having a kicker that, man, hey, game's on the line. Here it is right here. One shot, one opportunity. Go win this game, and having that guy do that. That is the difference for Nebraska this season with the opponents that they're playing, where they're playing, and how much talent that they have. So Mike Ekeler, to me, is the X factor. He's the key. He is the key to the season. I was trying to come up with a different way of saying it, but he is the key to Nebraska. He is the difference between winning and losing. His coaching, his culture, and just the difference he can make on the team. And so I think we kind of knew that, but I couldn't be more confident. I could be more confident if they went out and they actually did those things and they actually executed those things. And I won't be more confident until I see it happen. But the way that he just presents himself and people talk about him, man, like, it's the first time in a while that people should feel confident about what Nebraska has in that phase of the game. And that's massive for this team, and it's the first time you could say that in quite a while. All righty, that's been Take 5, and I've been Matt McMaster.